Aloha, everybody, and welcome to the halftime edition of the Sixers post-game and what's become half-game recaps, Pags.
I love the half-game recaps.
5 minutes about the first half, 5 minutes about the second half. I think we got a pretty good little flow going here.
Absolutely, and I like to listen to see how wrong I am and how right I am about what's about to occur in this next half.
That's right, man. But the Game 3, arguably the most important game of the series if you're tied 1-1, because the loser would then have to win 3 of 4, and that's tough to do in any sport. The Sixers currently with a 6-point lead at the half on the road in Brooklyn, 65-59. What were your kind of initial thoughts on that first half there, besides the late-breaking news? Or hell, we should probably touch on the late-breaking news, but Joel Embiid not playing in Game 3.
That's probably my biggest take of this half is we cannot fucking rebound without Embiid. Monroe and Marjanovic, it's just like this Adams dude gets out all these freaking rebounds.
Allen, I believe you're talking about, right?
Allen, that's what I meant.
He's got 12 points already, and he was averaging, I think, 5 when Embiid was playing. So it really is just a mismatch here, and it looks like we got 13 out of Boban and 11 out of Monroe. And honestly, Boban has really outplayed Monroe, and it shows up not so much on the points, but the plus-minus. Greg Monroe -9, Boban +15.
It's just the Nets can get to the freaking hole every time, and there's no one there protecting the rim without Embiid in there. And it's just like all these little floaters are going in because Monroe can't get up there and Boban can't move.
Monroe's been playing the first 5 or so minutes, and then they've been trying to give Boban the last 7. So it really is just kind of a, hey, let's hold the fort down until we can get Boban in here. And Boban plus the 4 starters has been a solid combination for the playoffs so far.
I was going to say, even Monroe, I mean, both those guys are giving you what they got. And, I mean, Monroe's hustling. He's diving for balls. He's running the floor, getting a little layup in there. So you can't really fault them. That's their game. And we're comparing it to Embiid, so I don't know if that's a fair comparison for those two, but they're doing what they can.
The surprise offensively for the Sixers is probably Tobias Harris, and he's 4 of 4 from deep.
That's a surprise.
Yeah, right? A little bit more. I mean, I know he's on pace for about 30, and his average was right about 17 or 20, but he shot the ball well of late here the last 4 quarters.
Well, I don't know if you noticed this. I shot you a text during the game, but the shots that aren't falling for him, like you said, he's leaning into it, or he has this little double clutch. When he goes straight up, that thing is so smooth. And we had talked about this in earlier podcasts that this dude has the smoothest shot I've seen. And when he goes straight up and he catches it in the motion, those things are falling.
Yeah, when he's running that pick and roll with Boban, getting to about the free throw line, his momentum keeps carrying him forward, and he's clanked too long pretty hard. And then when he gets it in rhythm off like a miss and a kick out type of action, he's been locked in. And the other gentleman that's right there is Mr. Ben Simmons, having himself a solid first half after a little bit of a back and forth with Mr. Dudley and a Ben Simmons missing jumper sign. Call Kendall Jenner if you've seen it. So they're booing him every time, man, and he's kind of shoved it right back at him.
Ben's playing with the fire that I need him to play with every game. That's what I need to see out of Ben Simmons. I mean, he has a nice putback at the end of the half right there. He's taking it to the hole. He's doing what he does, and that little dish to Tobias for that 3 was a nice little dime there from him.
It was a nice play in transition, and this game would be wide open right now if it wasn't for Karis LeVert. And
fucking man,
I want to hate him, but he's a Michigan guy, so a little part of me every time's like, damn, yeah, I know this kid can ball. Like, I watched it happen. So he's already got 19. I think I heard him say his career high or maybe playoff career high was 23. So he's really the only reason is D'Angelo Russell's kind of struggling again here with only 11 points in the first half. The Sixers have kind of held him in check here. I believe that's Jimmy Butler that's been giving him a little bit of problems. I'm thinking they should control this down the stretch. As long as they make some free throws, we should walk out of Brooklyn with a W.
That's what I'm hoping for, and then get Embiid back for Game 4, and let's roll.
Either way, we'll see you guys post-game, and we'll check into how right or wrong we were.
See you in about an hour and a half.
And And we are back, Pags, and that is a W for the Sixers in Game 3 on the road in Brooklyn with the final score of 131-115. A high-scoring affair.
Seems like the Sixers have figured out their offensive woes.
It's interesting, man, because I don't know if it was because they weren't with Joel, but you mentioned it in the second half of Game 2, but the Sixers' rotation is only 8 deep now that they're in the playoffs. I mean, Boban, Scott, and Ennis are really the only bench guys getting minutes here.
Yeah, and I'm good with Ennis not playing a lot of minutes because that dude is a turnover machine.
I know, and then Jonathan Simmons, he was the one in Game 1 I was saying, can we get less of him? We got no Bolden, no Korkmaz. It's just a shame, dude, because we're like 1 or 2 bench pieces away here. But when you get performances like 31 out of Ben Simmons and 29 and 15 rebounds out of Tobias Harris, it's nice to see that second and third option kind of come around because, you know, Jimmy had the big Game 1. Joel was kind of the driver in Game 2. And, you know, now you get Simmons and Harris in Game 3, and we'll kind of see who takes Game 4 with JJ having a solid Game 2. But
I was going to say, I'd argue JJ had some opportune threes there that kind of buried him.
Yeah, he had that nice little stretch in the third quarter, finished 5 of 9 from distance. Tobias was 6 of 6. And those were really the only 2 who made it, man. That's actually they are the only 2 who made it. They were 11 of 27. So the rest of the team, those 2 were 11 of 15, and the rest of the team 0 for 12, Pags.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, we're going to need somebody else to make a couple three-pointers here.
Even Jimmy Butler 0 for 3 on the day. Mike Scott 0 for 4. He hasn't made a three-pointer since February. And Ennis 0 for 3, man. It's just holy
don't sell
moly.
Mike Scott short. He hit a couple last game.
Did he? He's been terrible, in my opinion.
Yeah, and he has stupid fucking tattoos on his arm.
All those emojis he's rocking.
Dude, I got to say, this net team, they whine so much. And it's just like their coach is just bitching constantly. And I'm just like, they're bitching about stuff that isn't even like could go one way or the other. They're just bitching to bitch and trying to get a call here and there. It's just like, yo, you guys, it was just irking me during that game.
Yeah, honestly, Pags, I attribute that to the Sixers a little bit more than everything because that building was pretty riled up, man. That was a lively environment, as loud as I've ever heard Brooklyn. And the Sixers from the jump, man, came out and took an 8-point lead, and, you know, they cut it to 6 at halftime, but it was a little bit more than that kind of going in. So the Brooklyn crowd, it was similar to Game 1 in Philadelphia where they wanted to, you know, kind of get going, and outside of, I think what was it, like 6-2 or 7-2 to start the game, they never had anything to go off of, and thus everybody just kept getting more and more frustrated. And as Ben Simmons was loving it, you know, just throwing his hands up in Dudley when he's airballing balls and shit like that. It's just they kind of playing that same game right back with the Nets. The Nets, to your point, were trying to like bully them and kind of frustrate them a little bit, and the Sixers were just like, no, we're better at this than you are. If you guys don't fucking rain down from 3-point land, we're going to kill you.
Yeah, and that Josh Allen dude is soft as hell. Boban just ran his fucking ass over. I didn't realize there was a 60-pound difference between the two.
Well, Boban's the heaviest guy in the NBA, Pags, at 285.
Yeah, that's unbelievable.
Right? Zion's about to come in and be even heavier.
Oh, God. Hey, good win. We flipped the home court back to our side. So
Game 4, Saturday afternoon, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see if Embiid goes Game 4 now that they won the third one. So we'll see.
I was going to say, we'll see. I've been wrong kind of every game here because my gut's telling me that he won't, but I sure as heck thought he was going to play tonight after having 2 days off. So what the hell do I know?
I could see them easily giving him another game off. And then they have, here's the NBA playoffs for you, a 2-day break after Game 4 because it takes so long to get from Brooklyn to Philadelphia.
That's right. It's a travel day, Pags. They got to readjust to the time zone, I believe, is what's happening there.
I guarantee they are back in Philly the night of the game because they're playing at 3 o'clock.
Post shower, and they're on the train by 6:30. They're home in their own beds at 9 o'clock at night.
Positive, getting back, getting up 2-1. It's always a good thing, and see if we can get Game 4 locked down and go back in Philly and close out a series.
That's right. We appreciate you guys listening. That's the wrap for Game 3 here. Like Pag said, the Sixers win by 16, control it throughout, and take a 2-1 series lead.
Let's go. Game 4 Saturday, baby.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers. 10, 9, 8, 76ers.